where Vancouver Island is? It's not even close to Toronto. Okay, let's get things going.
Yes, you know what? I will note all these questions and I will ask them later on.
It's gonna have a Canadian flair for sure.
All right. Sports. Talk. Line.
Do you guys even know where Vancouver Island is? It's not even close to Toronto. Okay, let's get things going.
Well, we got lots to talk about today. Welcome to the Unnamed Sports Show on the Sports Talk Line Network. I am your host, of course, Joshua Griffith. I want to thank you all for joining me. Sorry I'm a little bit late today. Wanted to push some things back. Spoke with head coach of the Vancouver Whitecaps, Marc Dos Santos, a little while ago. So wanted to make sure that I was able to get all that stuff and have enough time for that. So we had a giant sports-filled Thursday. I don't know if you woke up early like I did for the Vancouver Whitecaps game. You might have missed that. If not, well, there was lots of stuff going on. But right now, because he's kind enough to join me, he's got some stuff to do. He's back from Orlando. But I'm joined right now by Felipe Martens from the DC United. Felipe, thank you so much for joining me. I know how busy you are. Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
Hey, so how are you? How are you doing? You safe? Are you back home now and everything like that?
Everything is good. I'm back home with the kids, the family, and I'm happy to be back with them. Unfortunately, the tournament didn't went the way we want, but it's part of the game. You gotta accept and move on and get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know how big of a family man you are, so I'm glad that you're back home with the wife and the kids, and you're actually off to soccer practice today. That's why I had to have you in so quickly off the start. So
yeah, it's a pleasure to be here to talk to you. I know how passionate you are about football, about soccer, so it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you. So Felipe, you scored your 50, or you got your 50th MLS assist in the second game for DC United in your draw there against New England. What was that like for you? And you look almost like you're a revitalized player coming into this tournament.
Yes, I'm very fit. I worked so hard during quarantine. I think the move from Vancouver to DC United was very positive for me. I feel like a new player. I feel confident. I'm very excited for what I'm doing here. I love to be here. My family it's happy. So when all of this comes together, it's you in the best situation to play your best of yourself.
Absolutely. And as sad as I was to see you leave Vancouver, I was also extremely happy to see you guys, you and your family, settle in so comfortably in Washington and with DC. And also you just find a great spot there in the midfield. I noticed that you were playing more of an attacking center role last game for DC United.
Was a tactic, a little tweak that we did for that game. I'm very comfortable on either position. I'm always, as I said to Ben, my coach, and the staff, I'm always, win for whatever the team needs. So, and I'm open to do anything that helps the team.
And you mentioned Coach Ben Olsen there. He looks like he's really brought a different philosophy and a dynamic towards DC United and what you guys just want to bring.
I think coach is super smart. He's a very passionate coach, and he's a legend for this club and for this league and for U.S. soccer. And what he brings is not many can bring. And he represents this club in every single way, and we are so fortunate to have him.
Oh, I bet. So Felipe, obviously I know you're short of time, so kick me off anytime that you have to go, because I know I have to go. Otherwise, I'll just ramble on all day with questions for you. So
just throw me the questions and we can go from there.
Okay. So what has been your I guess biggest or greatest experience or moment in MLS so far, just in your overall experience with all the clubs you've been with?
I think every single moment for me is that I go through, I'm looking forward for the next. So every single moment for me is special because I live every game and every training like is my last. So I live day by day, I live game by game, train by train. But there is many moments that I can always be very happy with. But obviously, I play a lot of games and, a lot of moments. And playing CONCACAF, it's very special. Playing the U.S. Open Cup final, it's special. Every single game, that was meaningful in playoffs, it's special. So there is not only one, but many moments that was great for me.
Okay, well, I'll switch it up then. I won't make you make it a moment. Well, what's the best stadium or the best atmosphere that you've played in?
Okay, the best stadium, I think the best atmosphere I played.
You mentioned the CONCACAF stuff, so.
But I think in Seattle and Portland is the two, one of the best stadiums to play. That you really feel the fans into it. It's very passionate and it's a great atmosphere to play.
Yeah, I've definitely made a couple trips down to Portland and very much enjoyed even being in the supporter section of those games. So, it's definitely been a lot of fun. So I'm with Felipe Martens, midfielder for DC United here on the Unnamed Sports Show. Felipe, looking forward to the season, as uncertain as it is going forward, you guys obviously, didn't make it through to the knockout stage, but, got some valuable points in the actual league tournament. When things get back, what do you see from DC United and what do you guys have planned, I guess, for training and to keep motivated and fit going forward until things get back?
I think motivation is always there because, we're looking forward to be training and get better. As the tournament went on, I think the team was getting better and better each half. And, for us, we had a lot of players coming in. It's still a working process. And, we're looking forward to get some more games in so we can now understand each other better, each game, each training. So, we're looking forward to continuing. Our motivation is very high to be back playing and be back, to do what we love and represent this club.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And it really looks like you guys have bonded too as a team, just from all of the, the awesome social media stuff that we're seeing and the Instagram videos and live stuff that you guys are doing as a team. So that's really nice to see.
Yes. Our team has more than good players, have a lot of good guys, and we definitely enjoy being with each other. And that's very important in a team.
Absolutely. I mean, that kind of tops, everything else here. So, and of course, speaking of important football matches, you have one to be at right now. Do you not?
Yes. I got to go. My son
had
a little pickup game with his friends. And, he wants me to to be from far. It's on the back of my house, so I gonna go there and enjoy his little game.
You know what, Felipe, that is absolutely fantastic. I love it. I wouldn't have any other way. So you'll make sure that you if you're roughing it, make sure you give it fair. Don't call it one-sided.
I gotta stay away, and I'm gonna watch from far.
Okay, yeah.
Side, he's gonna be playing with the kids, but he wanted me definitely watching it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure he would. I know how big of a family man you are. Again, like I said,
Yeah.
From your time in Vancouver, and just how generous and nice your family was with me and giving me all the time that they did. So thank you again for joining me. I've been trying for a long time to get you on and chit chat, and you're just a busy guy. So
no, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope you're doing well, and I'm very happy that you're doing this and you accomplish things for yourself as well.
Oh, thank you very much, Felipe. And I hope to talk to you soon, and have a great time and enjoy your son's soccer game. So
thank you.
Thank you again for joining me.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay, so that was Felipe Martens of DC United. And he was going to join me a little bit later, but obviously, like he said, he's just back from the Orlando bubble today or yesterday. I think he got in late yesterday. Was chatting with him, and he was kind enough to do this. He put some time aside. We were going to do it a little bit later on, but like I said, I mean, his son has a soccer game. That's some important stuff. So as much as I'd like to think my show is important in the grand scheme of things, when it comes down to it, that's what I love to see. Family first. Beautiful. If anybody knows, Felipe is one of my favorite players. And I have, like I said, been trying to get him to do an interview for a long time. So finally got that. Pretty excited about it. I don't know if you can tell. So we do have other sports news. The Whitecaps. Oh, yeah, they won. Felipe doesn't play for them anymore, but yeah, we'll get, thank you again, Felipe, for joining me. So, the Vancouver Whitecaps won this morning. If you got up at 6 a.m., I'm going to get back into my monologue. And then we have an interview that I recorded like 45 minutes ago. That's why the show was a little bit late with head coach Marc Dos Santos. He was able to fit me in between a couple other pretty prominent television and networks. So pretty happy about that. So got up this morning, 6 a.m. Well, 5:20 a.m. Really early. Roommate was still out playing video games, as I'm sure most of you know. The Whitecaps really were coming into things, and they needed a lot of help. Like, they needed a miracle. They needed to win by 2 goals, and after their performance in the tournament, losing starting goalkeeper Maxime Crepeau last game with a fractured thumb. Like I said, they needed a miracle. So head coach Marc Dos Santos had been saying all week in various interviews that, they weren't going to be laying down for this game. They were going to be coming into things, attacking and going for not attacking at the beginning, but they were going to be going for the win and the 3 points in the regular season, and then also to advance to the knockout stage. They came out with a surprise 5-3-2. They had Gasper Kamiri, Derek Cornelius, and Renko Veselinovic, because I was pronouncing that wrong, I guess. But I apologize to him because I was doing it in an interview to him. Whatever. At center back, and Thomas Assal was making his first MLS start after he came in last game to come in for Maxime Crepeau, like I had said. So they were playing the Chicago Fire squad that made 7 changes after a 2-0 loss to the San Jose Earthquakes. But Chicago was in a really great position. They really only needed – they could have gone through with a draw, a win. They could have lost only by 1, and they most likely would have gone through to the knockout stage. But That's not what happened. So if you missed it, I am sorry, because it was actually worth getting up at 6 a.m. or 5, whatever time I did to watch. The game started rather, hesitant on either side's team, which could be seen, made sense from a Whitecaps perspective, as they were trying to hold things down at the beginning, and they kind of started a roster that people would have been like, oh, okay, I guess maybe they're not going for it. But head coach Marc Dos Santos had a plan the whole time and left Yordi Reyna, Christian Dahome, and David Milinkovic on the bench, and he went with the 5-3-2 and started Canadians Thielbert and Ryan Raposo up front. So for Ryan Raposo, as well as Thomas Hassal, it was his first MLS start. So that was good to see for him. So as far as the game went, yeah, like I said, it was very timid to start. Both teams kind of feel each other out. The Whitecaps were kind of happy to just kind of sit back and not really play anything. Clear balls away when they were coming in. Derek Cornelius had a really good game out of the back, in my opinion. So did Ranko Veselinovic, and Yasser Khmiri was having a good game until he got injured. He made a couple of errant passes, but still. So scoreless game for most of the half there, for the half, and Yasser Khmiri actually got injured. Went for a tackle and slid and looked like a knee injury. The coach wasn't really talking about it after. He's going to let it. Obviously, he said he's going to let the inflammation go down, and then they're going to assess it tomorrow. So they had to bring on. Like I said, I'm a little bit underprepared today because of all the Whitecaps stuff this morning, and I've been up for about 9 hours already, and I'm like half pot and a half coffee through. So they. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about it. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. There's too much other things to talk about. So, Yasser had to go out. He got injured there, and they brought in a sub for him just before the first half ended. And the Whitecaps and Chicago Fire went into the half scoreless, 0-0, which is kind of what Marc Dos Santos wanted. Chicago was fine with it. Like I said, they could have got through on the draw. Try and get back in my train of thought and not stumble through things. As we get into the second half, the second half was really exciting. So even if you woke up about 7 o'clock or even later, as we will get into, you probably caught the exciting part of the game. So things kicked off in the second half. Neither team made any more changes besides the injury sub there for Yasser Khmiri. And then things kind of kicked off in the same progression as the first. Chicago was kind of driving things forward. Medran was playing really good out of the midfield for Chicago, but they were just kind of settling with long shot opportunities. They were just getting blocked by the Whitecaps, or looking for long crosses that were again getting blocked by the Whitecaps, or punched away by Thomas Hassal. He had a couple good punch aways. It wasn't until Marc Dos Santos brought on Yordi Reyna, as well as a couple other subs. Well, no, so he brought Yordi Reyna on for Ryan Raposo there first. And now I found my notes on my spot. See, that's why I shouldn't keep them on the computer and on paper. I should organize everything in one. But so Ryan Raposo was taken off for Yordi Reyna, and he instantly made an impact for the Vancouver Whitecaps. It was vintage Yordi Reyna. If people are familiar with vintage Yordi Reyna, it only comes up once every in a blue moon. So he was all over the park. He was making chances, and the Whitecaps actually made a couple more changes. They brought on David Milinkovic for Thielbert and Christian Gutierrez for Leonard Owusu, and moved him back to left back, and then Ali Adnan up to kind of a left wing role, which seemed to help things. And then in the 66th minute, or sorry, in the 63rd minute, after all the subs were through, Chicago made a couple subs as well. They brought on CJ Sapong for Alicida, their Chicago's young designated player, and Navarro came on for Boyenstein in the back. And then we got an exciting weather delay. So there was thunderstorms in Orlando, and they had to delay the match for an hour and 20 minutes. So that's a long time to wait to finish the final 30 minutes. They had just made all the subs. It was really exciting to hear from the players and Marc Dos Santos when I talked to him, and then also too in the post-game interview about just what they were doing and the mindset going into it, about coming back out in the second half. So after the 1 hour and 20 minute rain delay or thunderstorm delay, I actually went and lied down for about 20 minutes and then came back and things got going again. And the Whitecaps basically looked like they were shot out of a can. I don't know, like Marc Dos Santos must have gave the ultimate halftime speech at the 62nd minute weather delay, because Jordi Reyna came out and ended up scoring a goal real quick. Chicago was looking to get it in deep, tried to play it over to the left side, and Christian Gutierrez just booted right up. Ali Adnan made a nice little flick onto, a nice little pass onto to Jordi Reyna, and nice little. Oh. See again. Oh, there it is. Yeah, no, and then I'm confusing my two goals because he flicked it on the second one. Adnan was down both goals. Spoiler alert: they won by 2. So Adnan passed it over to Reyna, and he was able to break 3 and beat the goalkeeper for the 1-0 lead. And shortly after, like I just alluded to, another flick by Ali Adnan, and Jordi Reyna was able to get it over to Christian Dahome for the 2-0 goal. So it was some tense moments after. It looked like Chicago scored by CJ Sapong, but the goal was called back by VAR. Before I stumble through any more of this, thankfully this is pre-recorded so I can get all of my stuff all organized. I'm going to have Lee bring up my interview that I just did a little while ago with head coach Marc Dos Santos. So he was kind enough to chat with me for about 10 or 15 minutes. I pushed it. They said I had 10, but like I said, I pushed it. So this is me and Mark, if Lee has that ready, and I hope you guys enjoy that.
Hey Josh, how are you?
Hi, Mark. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me here on the Unnamed Sports Show.
Pleasure, no problem.
First and foremost, how are you doing, holding up down there and everything? And then we'll get to the performance today after.
It's hard, man. It's hard. You know, the more the days go forward, and also, you know, knowing that when we go home, we're most probably, for sure, we're going to have to quarantine. So to know that we're just been locked for months and not being able to get out. We get out to train, to play, and we stick together as a team. The good thing is, you know, what's important is that in moments like this, you get to know people, you get to know the staff, the players, and we're with good people here. And, you know, sometimes you have to go through things like that with a bad group, but when you're with a good group, it makes it just easier.
Well, that's good to hear, Mark. I'm glad. So congratulations on the win today. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about your decision to go with a 5-back formation to start the game.
You know, we knew that we had a chance of qualifying if we would win by 2-0, but we conceded 7 goals in our first 2 games. And especially the game against San Jose, it was really hard on us because we felt we were so close and we just let it slip away. So then going into the Chicago game, we said the first thing we have to do is not concede, because if Chicago would have scored first, we would just feel that the mountain to climb is so high. And we wanted to make sure first we have to defend very well. And this is why you saw a first half from us that was much more pragmatic, much more closing the doors to Chicago with the plan of slowly opening them up. We knew that with the weather, with the game being at 9 a.m., they would slowly open up. And this is why we wanted to keep a lot of our explosive players on the bench. Dajome, Reina, Milinkovic, all guys that are very, Christian Gutierrez, all very explosive and fast players, that our hope was that when we would make the change early in the second half, it would bring the effect and the result that we wanted. It worked today. It doesn't mean that it's going to work every time. Today, with the opponent, with the time of the game, the humidity, we felt it was the right thing to do. We planned it. But Josh, for this to work, you need to convince the players of why they're staying on the bench, what are the reasons, so that their mindset when they go in is a good mindset. And that was what happened today. A group that was committed to defend first, players that came on that were committed to make a difference, and then it was 10 minutes of survival, of battling to stay with the 2-0, of putting our bodies on the line, and it's incredible to get out of this, not only with the 3 points that are extremely important in the Western Conference, but also with the qualification for the last 16.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned you had the defense going and the players coming off the bench. Reina, in his post-game interview, he seemed really excited about it. He was all over the pitch in his 30 minutes. Is that something that you were able to stress to him, and is that something we could see moving forward maybe?
No, let's go one game at a time. In this game, this worked, and in this game, we factored everything, Josh. We factored the humidity, the time of the game. Looking at other games that were played at 9 a.m., when I was watching these games with my staff, we always feel that teams die out after 65, 70 minutes. And we imagine if we're able to have the 0-0 or leading by 1-0, and now that the effect of these guys could have in the last 25, 30 minutes. So this worked in this game. In another game, it might work that Jordi has to start and somebody else coming off. So we're the good part of all of this, Josh, is we were able, through a lot of adversity, do something that is very difficult to do. You need a group that is committed and staying together. And when you build and you keep building your team with moments like that, and knowing that you still have 10 other players that are going to join this group, well, it's very encouraging moving forward.
Well, and Coach, you can see that just with the players that you bring off the bench, just with their will, whether it be Derek Cornelius last game and then starting this game, and Christian Gutierrez, as you mentioned earlier, just when they came on, they made, Christian Gutierrez made a big difference there on the back on both of the goals for you guys today. I mean, what did you think of your back line just in general?
When I evaluate our defending, many times people only speak about the back line or the central defenders or the goalkeeper. But the reality is that it's when you defend, it's everybody. Your forwards have an important task to do. And again, I highlight the commitment of everybody during the game, the forwards tracking back, guys working back. And the guys that come in contributing. Look, if soccer was only about 11 players, well, the rosters would only have 11 players, and that's it. But a soccer team is composed of that. It's composed of guys that are important for 10 minutes, that are important for 5 minutes, guys that have to play 90 minutes. You have to be ready when you're in a roster for the team and nothing else. And this is what we preach here, and this is the culture we want to create here. Everybody is important. Everybody has a role to play, and once it's your time to perform, you're ready to go and help the team.
You talked about the culture a bit, and before Nathan gets too mad at me for taking up too much of your time, because I know you're super busy today, so thank you again. But what were you able to stress to the squad during the weather delay there? We heard a little bit of about it from in post game, but if people haven't heard, what was the message?
We were 1 hour and 20 minutes in the locker room, so you don't want to be talking 1 hour and 20, because then the guys don't listen anymore. So the first thing I said is I asked our team admin Ed to let me know 15 minutes or 10 minutes before we would go on the field. So we were still waiting on the update of the league, and then 10 minutes prior to going back to the 10-minute warm-up, I spoke with the players. What we said is we addressed a couple of things tactically. My staff, Phil and Vanny, went through a lot of the set play situation with the players. We addressed the positioning of some guys when we press. And then what I told the players is after 2 losses and after 60 minutes of play, we're still alive. And as long as we're alive, there's no way we're going to stop fighting. And I told them that if we scored the first goal, they're going to shake, because they're going to be on the ropes, and then we have to go after again. So I always said, it was first to score the first goal, not thinking about the mountain to climb of winning the 2-0, but actually only thinking about first we have to win the game. If it's 1-0, it's going to put them against the ropes, and that's what happened.
Okay, well, before I get to my final question here with you, Coach, who was in charge of picking the music for the weather delay?
I think it was Maxime Crépeau. There's something he has to do, no?
Yeah. Yes. No. And
Yeah.
and I actually really love his taste of music, so that's good. So, final question again. Thank you for joining me here on the Unnamed Sports Show, talking with Marc Dos Santos. So, Marc, looking forward to your opponents. You still have to wait and see who it is. Could be either Sporting Kansas City, which you saw earlier in the season, or Toronto FC. Obviously, you don't want to divulge too much of your tactics, and I understand that. But what can we see kind of looking forward in the knockout stage of this tournament from the Whitecaps?
Look, I'll answer like this. Right now, we did our part of getting another 3 points that is putting us in a playoff line position in the Western Conference, and this was one of the objectives coming to Orlando. But now the points don't count. Now, if you win or lose, it doesn't count for the state standings. I don't know if we're gonna play Sporting Kansas City or Toronto, but I know that we're going to play a kind of a big team in MLS, because both of them are former MLS champions. So the challenge will be big. But now that we're here in the last 16, we have to dream. We have to dream. We have to dream that everything's possible despite the guys that are out. And we have to dream that we could qualify to the quarterfinals. Really take it one game at a time and enjoy it. But the most important thing right now, Josh, is we have to recover. We have to recover physically to make sure that the legs of the guys are all ready to go for the next game.
Well, again, thank you for taking the time to join me. I'm sure I'm not the last of your media excursions for the day, so hopefully you can get to relaxing as soon as possible and enjoy the victory with the squad. And we'll see you back out there on Sunday with whoever opponent that you're facing.
Thank you very much, Josh. Take care.
Thank you very much for joining me.
No problem. Thanks. Have a good one.
All right. So I hope that you enjoyed that interview with head coach of the Vancouver Whitecaps, Marc Dos Santos. You were kind enough for scheduling that with me, and that's why we had to push the show back a little bit. Had to make sure that I had time to get that interview because he couldn't join me just quite live. Again, he's a busy guy. And also I wanted to make sure that I was able to send it to my producer, Lee, who is number one, and was able to make sure everything was all ready to go for our show, even though it was a little bit late. But that one, I'm going to take full responsibility on that. So going to keep with the Major League Soccer as we kind of break you down with the round of 16 as we're kind of finding out which teams are going to play which. We know that Philadelphia, New England are going to play, and Orlando, Montreal are going to play on the Saturday. San Jose and Real Salt Lake are going to play on Tuesday. Columbus and Minnesota are going to play on Wednesday. Toronto, Sporting KC, Cincinnati, and Seattle all await their opponents. Could be a variety of different people. Like I said earlier, the Whitecaps could actually, I don't know if I said this earlier, but the Whitecaps' potential opponents are Sporting KC. No, I said it in the interview with Mark. That's where it was. So the Whitecaps' potential opponents for the round of 16 could be Sporting Kansas City, which they saw in the very first game in their home opener, which they lost, or Toronto FC. Please let it be Toronto FC, as I would love this Canadian rival and would give me a lot of fun to dig at some of those guys back east that are Toronto FC fans and supporters. So hopefully we can have a matchup here and we can maybe make some side bets or something like that. So the Group F goes a little bit later on this evening as Portland plays LAFC in the tops of the groups, while the Houston Dynamo play the really disappointing LA Galaxy. I know Chicharito's out again. I haven't heard anything about this game. Like I said, I've been busy with Whitecap stuff, so I haven't really checked lineups for tonight. But if he's out again, that's a big blow for the LA Galaxy and a chance at the final knockouts round spot, because they both do still have something to play for there. So the NHL actually has some more news, and it comes from the 32nd NHL franchise, the Seattle, now named Krakens. I was really glad that they didn't decide to stick with the unnamed Seattle team. It's kind of my thing. Don't need to steal it. So they went with their own stupid thing, the Krakens. I don't know, I guess. Like, it's better than salmons or sockeyes. They were going to go with sockeyes. I like totems better. Emeralds I could have even seen. We got Krakens. It's cool. It's a play. I don't know. They can't do the showman stuff, I guess, that Las Vegas can, or, could afford people coming into the league as, an expansion team. So they're going to be doing this. They had a nice marketing video. If you haven't seen it, they catch a Kraken in it. And it's pretty much what you expect. I don't know. I mean, they're not going to have a Kraken like destroy a whole ship with 30 people and like bring it under, which is what you'd expect a Kraken to do. If it was me and I was the one deciding on it, I would have probably had a Kraken take out every single NHL logoed animal that you could think of, whether it be on land or water. Because, I mean, you could just pull them in off like a predator or a natural predator. You could just pull it off the water. So I would have just done a giant thing about a Kraken just destroying everything in the NHL. But I think that was their thing. It's their video. It's their franchise. So excited. Welcome to the NHL, the Seattle Krakens. Hopeful for a long and storied franchise with the Vancouver Canucks. And speaking of the Vancouver Canucks, they had another team scrimmage that happened yesterday. Team, I don't know, half the squad won 5-2. The other half lost 5-2. On the winning side was Jacob Markstrom, Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson. So, I don't know. It almost looks stacked, but it looks like the team's going good. Michael Furlan has been skating. He participated in the scrimmage. He actually scored a nice goal. He went short side on Demko, so that was nice to see. For anyone who was wondering, Shotgun Jake Virtanen also scored a goal, so hopefully to see some more things from him in the play-in series against Minnesota that starts very shortly here. The Vancouver Canucks will also have their first exhibition game on Wednesday against Winnipeg when they are in the Edmonton bubble. So that will be cool to see some hockey with two different teams. And it looks like the NHL is going to allow head coaches to dress two extra players, which could give, Coach Travis Green an opportunity to dress someone like Ferland or Eriksson or Virtanen if he's maybe hesitant about it and wants to see how he would do, but not necessarily use a real NHL game for it. So that'll be nice to see. And then we will get hockey back very shortly. Something we are getting back very shortly if COVID-19 doesn't get in the way, or we heard that before. But the Major League Baseball is supposed to kick off tonight, or is supposed to swing off. I gotta work on my transition. Swing on. They're gonna I got it. Major League Baseball looks to hit a home run tonight with their doubleheader opening. That's better, yeah. The New York Yankees will play the Nationals, and the Giants will play the Dodgers in the late game tonight. But unfortunately for the Nationals defending MLB champions, their star Juan Soto tested positive asymptomatically too for COVID-19 earlier in the day. There has been, I guess, more testing of the players. Doesn't look like they're going to get the results back. I don't have my phone in front of me to check on all of the latest stuff going on with the Major League Baseball and where regards to Juan Soto and his COVID testing, but he will not be available to play. I haven't heard anything or gotten any pop-up notifications saying Major League Baseball isn't a go for tonight. So Major League Baseball fans, rejoice. We actually have regular season baseball that is meaningful, and if you like it, we're going to get to watch it. And I don't even know when it starts. Probably just under an hour at most. But we got two games today. The Blue Jays are supposed to kick off. The Blue Jays are supposed to start their season tomorrow in Tampa. But it doesn't look like they're going to have a home to play at. They were supposed to play in Pittsburgh at PNC Park. But the Pennsylvania government and health authority kind of just put a nix to that. So now they're looking at Baltimore, Maryland, home of the Baltimore Orioles, as an alternative to play their home games there. Or it looks like they might just be road warriors for the remainder of the season. So that could be interesting. Heard it brought up a little bit earlier by, I think, Bob Marjanovic on TSN 40 about basically any MLB players live in a bubble anyways, as they just fly to the parks and fly home and go like that. They got to limit their trips to restaurants and everything like that, but it won't be too big of a thing. What else do we have in news for sports right now? There's actually lots going on. I know there's a PGA Tour going on. I don't know what's going on for the results for that. Again, really, really sloppy. I'm not going to lie. I'll admit when I'm dropping the ball in my sports news. But again, it's been just Whitecaps today for me. So maybe I should just talk more about the Whitecaps. Jordy Reyna with a big goal coming off the bench. Christian Jahome coming off the bench in the first half for Yasser Kamiri. That was, again, a big one. You're seeing the youth movement. We didn't necessarily have anything from Ryan Raposo or Theo Bair in the first half up front. Theo Bair had a nice chance, had a heavy touch, and it went straight to the goalkeeper. But besides that, they were really silent. But I don't think the plan in the first half was for the Whitecaps to attack and to press hard. You could see in the second game against Seattle when they were down 3-0, you could hear it from head coach Marc Dos Santos yelling from the sidelines, press up and push. And you didn't hear it this game. They were quite comfortable just letting Chicago have the ball, maintaining possession, and taking their chances where they could. I think that a 0-0 score going into the halftime was pretty much what they had planned the whole time. And it looked like the tactical switch of Gutierrez as a left back and Ali Anand moving up to the wing was something that Mark had up his sleeve almost to say. I don't know if it would have been more exciting to see Ali Adnan in goal, as he would have been the backup goalkeeper if not been for Jonathan Saros from the Montreal Impact, who was loaned out on a one-day loan. And as head coach Marc Dos Santos said in his media availability, he's probably the only player to qualify for a knockout round of a tournament with two different teams. He actually mentioned Gigi Buffon probably has never done that. So big shout out to him, and thank you for helping the Whitecaps out. Where it goes for their goaltending situation, well, we might see Ali Adnan play keeper. No, let's hope not. He will, again, it's going to be a day-to-day situation with what's going on with the keeper. I'm trying to figure out if the Whitecaps are going to be able to loan him again or for the remainder of the tournament. But you got to think Montreal's in the knockout round too, and they're going to need their third string goaltender or their keeper if something happens. It's going to be an interesting tournament. Again, like I said, I hope that the Whitecaps play Toronto. I think they also have a better chance against Toronto than they do against Sporting Kansas City. Alain Puledo is the absolute real deal for Sporting Kansas. Got to just witness him tear apart the team in the home opener in front of 7,000 fans or whatever it was that filtered into probably be less if they ever get back to we're not gonna worry about. But just watched him carve up the Whitecaps, and he was impressive to watch. And he's been impressive this tournament. So I do not want the Whitecaps to have to play Sporting Kansas City. I would much rather them have the shot against Toronto FC. Don't think Toronto FC's backline's as good either as Sporting Kansas City's. So I'll take my chances against them. And then also I will get to talk about the hopefully Canadian wonder kid, John Herdman. You need to get on this and schedule a game for Canada so we can cap him. But Ayo Akinola needs to be the next Canadian men's national team phenom. So get on that. And yeah. So I know the NFL has some news, but I don't really care because they just canceled the preseason games. If you didn't hear about that, got some players speaking out about not having testing protocols or any protocols. But they're supposed to go back to training camp in 3-4 days. So, we'll see what goes on with the NFL. Yeah, business as usual for that moneymaker. I'm not going to lie. I think that's pretty much got you caught up in everything sports that I want to talk to you about. So, as always, I really want to thank you for joining me for the Unnamed Sports Show here on the Sports Talk on the Network. This has been my 12th show, so I hope you have tuned in. If you have missed any of them, they are all available on YouTube or on Spotify or iTunes or Google Chrome or whatever, wherever you get your podcast from. You just type in Unnamed Sports Show and you're going to find it. So make sure to like the video down at the bottom and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are getting very close to 20,000 subscribers now, and that's pretty cool considering sports are just getting back going. With sports getting back going, you'll notice that the Sports Talk on website is absolutely filtering through the different articles by our great writers. We have live scores as well, the latest news. There's lots of opinion pieces by different guys. So make sure to check that out. If you look up at the top, there's a whole bar. You just pick what's your poison. If you're an NFL fan, NHL fan, you click at their latest scores. You'll find everything you need. We got a lot of great shows for you on the Sports Talk Line Network as well. Not only do we have this one, the Unnamed Sports Talk Show, or the Unnamed Sports Show, sorry. We have Spinksy's college football show. We got No Remorse Football, or No Remorse Nate with his show. We have the Sports Fan. We have the Round Table that goes on. The boys are just loving with the Arsenal podcast, so they're doing that. So check them out. That's pretty much all I got. Oh, and also too, make sure to follow me on Twitter. Of course, if you don't already. If you don't have Twitter, then I guess you can't really follow me on Twitter. But There's going to be lots more Whitecaps news coming up as we have a game Sunday against, like I said, either Sporting Kansas City or Toronto. So going to have lots of pregame news for that, in-game news, post-game news, interviews, all that stuff. I actually have to sit down and finish my post-game article about that game they just played this morning. So stay tuned for that. That's going to come out a little bit later. So like I said, thank you for joining me on the Unnamed Sports Show. I've been your host, Joshua Griffith. And as always, remember to love sports, all sports.